played against AHQ was last week, so they're kind of going back-to-back here. They've had, a weekend, a week to reorganize their thoughts, and we'll see whether or not they're able to take down AHQ as we load on into Champion Select for our second game of the day.
All right, so now that we have been looking at the matches from Nova Esports, what has worked and what has not worked, and we always look towards the top side of the map, and sometimes the backup plan would be the mid lane for G4 if he gets early kills, and another backup for your backup, which I think Mixcross has improved throughout the weeks. We did mention his journey about not delivering the expectations during the first week. Week 2, you put him onto like the Varus or the Ashe and make him make use of more of his utility. And at the end of week 3, he improved MVP for the very first time for Mixcross, and that must feel good. And I feel like because of the slow improvements that the team has made overall, this could be a different version of Nova Esports coming into round number 2.
We'll have to see. Bans coming through, a lot of jungle taken away here against Kongya, as well as Uniboy not getting the Zoe. You do mention Mixcross, though, and the issue that comes with this, Riku, is they often have to prioritize him in the draft. Now, of course, he's not going up, say, against a Misfortune, but the Senna did make it through the draft here, and AHQ are going to immediately lock that in. And guess what? If they really wanted to, Riku, I don't see a Kench ban. That's them likely going to lock in a Kench, I believe.
It's been a while since we've seen this combo. I think it was week 3, but normally the teams would like to deny that away, and it seems to me Nova Esports is comfy. So Nova Esports, maybe they pair it with a Thresh, but I guess never mind. They're going to opt for a Karma. We still don't know where that's going to land, because G4 could potentially play that one too.
Yeah, it could go into the mid lane there for G4. So that or it's going to be a Varus mid. Hello, Varus mid.
What's happening?
Did I miss a patch note? Apparently everyone's enjoying Varus mid here all of a sudden in the PCS.
That's true. And right now, what are the options for AHQ? This is actually a pretty fast draft, because normally they would take their time, but it's going to be an insta-lock on that Varus, and that is going to be a potential Syndra lock for AHQ. There you go. Uniboy is going to be on the Syndra this time around, and we already saw how it is going to be difficult, especially if you don't have your level 6, pre-level 6 for all of these AD carry matchups with the mage mid lane. I am surprised. This is going very fast.
Yeah, I'm still pondering about where all this Varus mid priority is coming. Of course, the sample size is only 2 games here in week 4, but still, worldwide, we don't really see it too often as far as 10.5 play goes. Into our second ban phase, we're going to get rid of the set on the side of Nova. Meanwhile, AHQ getting rid of the LeBlanc, just in case they're playing, some funny business here. And, for maybe that's Rocky top lane Kalista. That is also a possibility.
Yes, that's true.
But from what I've been told is Rocky usually he likes his comfort picks. It's rare that you see him try something brand new out of solo queue.
I agree. And he can always fall back to the Fiora that has been... he played it twice last week, and I think it has been producing the results that Nova wants. And there has been an indirect buff towards Fiora on the item changes. I think it's towards the Ravenous Hydra. And therefore, I feel like that could be a setup for Rocky, since, they do like these things.
Let's see here, though. AHQ, they got rid of the Ornn, so really hammering down Rocky's pool here. Set, Aurelia, Ornn, and Renekton also taken away. This might possibly be a Kalista top lane for once in the PCS.
I want to see that.
I want to see it too. We'll have to see. The final 2 lock-ins for Nova are now, but on the side of AHQ, they get rid of they take up the Jarvan in the jungle, so Kongya is going to have that to make plays happen. Thank God it's not the Nocturne, because Nocturne did not excite me last week. As Orianna, that Varus doesn't go in the jungle, Riku. I think we got ourselves a Kalista top lane in PCS.
For the very first time. I am looking forward to that, and makes me wonder what they're going to play. This is... Okay, now they finally have the tank, the front line.
I was wondering.
If you play, maybe I pick up a Lee Sin, I would have been worried, but they're going to opt for the Sejuani, which I think Ryan has picked up at week 1, but has sort of diminish the pick on towards the Sejuani. Now we see it back, and that's a lot of damage coming from Nova Esports.
A lot of damage, but reminder, Civ has yet to show his top laner into this matchup. So it's not going into the ore in this Kalista. It likely goes into something like a melee like Aatrox, and it really relies on Rocky to get ahead fast in this lane. And I want to see whether or not Ryan also comes up to really pressure it, because this is, we talk about this before the draft happened. Rocky can get ahead in lane. He does it almost on every champion, every matchup he's been in, but we never see it translate elsewhere on the map. This pick is the definition of you need to do that or it doesn't work. Or he can go the shy approach and literally try and split push every lane in before 30 minutes. We'll have to see what the plan is here for Nova, but I'm excited to see a new draft coming out from Warlock.
That has been the playstyle of Rocky ever since. Either if this doesn't work, if either the 1v1 doesn't work, if either the team fights don't work, then we can just fall back into the usual playstyle of split pushing. That could be the style of Rocky. I think it's very, very doable.
Well, we'll see. Like I mentioned, I'm excited that Warlock is actually bringing out some new picks to the table. Nova, their second round robin, they need a lot of wins if they want to try and climb up in the standings. They currently sit on that bubble position of 7-8 where they could easily get knocked out if they fall behind, and for Hong Kong Attitude, they could try and jump up and overtake them. AHQ, you can try and remain flawless in your victories. You have your shot at getting your bye into the playoffs here very easily as we load on into the Rift.
Alrighty, and we've spoken a lot about the Nova Esports comp. They had a lot of mind games during their draft, but at the same time, yep, you're going to be pairing that up with the jungler for Kalista. So especially come level 6, it's going to be an interesting gank tool later on. Just throw your Pokemon. I choose you, Sejuani.
That's the go-to, yeah.
Yep.
This is like the game here for Rocky to prove himself, because especially he gets advantages in the lane very often, especially on his Renekton. That's why teams started to ban out the Renekton just against Nova, because usually Rocky is able to just take over a match on it. This time on a Kalista, it's really up to him to try and just shut down the lane, especially going up against Civ, which honestly, Civ in lane, usually he's able to go even. He's more of a team fight top laner. We usually see him on champions like the Set, trying to go for those big flanks. He still has that opportunity here with the Aatrox. But again, really relying on him not getting shut down early.
Last time these two faced each other, it was actually a pretty big stomp but from AHQ Esports. But I think at the same time, it was a pretty awkward setup for Nova Esports in terms of their composition. I remember Ryan was on the Trundle, G4 was on the Echo. And I think this Orianna pick will really change it differently, especially you're more of you have shield, you have the outplay potential with a key shockwave later on when things get when Orianna builds up to more damage. That could be the play.
Oh, this could be a play here. A sneaky level 2 gank from Kongye. Has the flag drag available and flash. If G4 pushes up a little too far forward, there it is. That's going to be no stun connecting, but he's not even going to use the knock up here. G4, very late flash, and the auto attack follows Uniboy. He gets first blood.
Wow, holding on to that flash to possibly perform an outplay, maybe forcing Uniboy or either or to walk further into getting more tower hits. That's probably the reason why he held on towards that flash.
I don't know. I think at that point, considering that Kongye didn't actually go for the flag drag flash combo we sometimes see, like maybe held on just a little bit too long as, yeah, that's first blood striking here in the mid lane for AHQ.
Yep, G4 had the level advantage, but once Uniboy reached level 2, easy stun in, auto attack, even using the heal. Whoa!
Ryan? Okay, Ryan, this is brand new. We haven't seen Ryan go for an invade in the first 3 minutes, I think, of any Nova game.
This is what we're talking about. This is what I'm looking forward to. I guess during that whole week, it was a complete reset. This is totally different from what we've seen when we witnessed the AHQ versus Nova matchup. This is extra aggression for Nova, and I'm happy to see.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So yeah, Ryan just gets the good pathing. He's got level 3 because Kongya went in for the mid lane and an easy cleanup.
Easy cleanup indeed, seeing as they knew where he began. Therefore, he's going towards his blue. Great job by Ryan here on the Sejuani. Very unfortunate for Kongyue. Gonna ruin his pathing a little bit. But blue buff is still alive, so that's at least a consolation prize from all this.
You know, a small little, consolation prize, like you mentioned. As Kongyue is still wanting to try and contest up toward the top lane scuttle. We'll see here. G4 is coming on over, so is Rocky. As we're going to keep track of this top lane, especially because Rocky's already got a double the CS lead of Civ on that Aatrox. It's not a fun matchup at all. As AHQ's bot lane, we're going to be seeing what appears to be the fasting Senna once again. Exactly,
and pretty scary. It is the expected result coming from a ranged, especially as a master kiter. Okay, Flash.
Fixed cross, forced the flash away. So you see that aggression coming out from AHQ.
Yep, with one of the queen of kitings in the AD carry position. Ryan, I don't think you were spotted there. Kongya is going to be spotted though. That ward over there by the Raptor camp will get a glimpse of where Ryan is. And there's going to be a ton of pings actually coming from both teams as they do want to get revenge over that invade.
AHQ, they're feeling a little, disrespected. They're like, wait a sec, Ryan, what are you doing here? Why are you trying to go for an invade?
It has never happened before.
It's rare.
For AHQ,
Ryan,
yeah.
For Nova, they usually do not go for the aggressive play. And all right, we got 4 members of AHQ looking for a dive. Ryan's nearby, so we'll see. Pop is going to be the main target, gets into the stun, and immediately is going to get taken on down. Kongya, though, was taking the tower aggro, so that's going to be the kill going back over to Nova with Mixed Cross.
Nice revenge kill, removing the jungler out of HQ in exchange for your own support. I think that's a pretty good trade for Nova Esports. They'll happily take that one. And we see Uniboy getting an assist from that.
Yeah, Uniboy gets the assist. Bane kill, though, does go on to that Senna. So that's the only small little lining here that Nova's going to be a little bit afraid of, is that does accelerate the Senna just a little bit.
Yep, that is absolutely true. And yeah, it's going to be scary later on for AHQ once the game keeps progressing, with how quite unlimited the Senna has in terms of scaling with in the form of souls. But no, Dragon has spawned. We'll see, though, whether or not HQ decides to take that one first, as they are in prime position to do so. Summer spells have been burnt for Mixed Cross. No flash going to be available for Varus.
Yeah, we'll see here on your graphic. Oftentimes, Rocky's able to get himself a CS lead. Like 9.2 on a top laner is not all that bad. He likes to keep up the pressure there, especially on Civ, which starting to fall a little bit behind when it comes to that farm game now. 57 to 32, not end of the world. My one concern here for Nova is Ryan's been having to play very defensively to the top side of the map. I'd like to see him maybe try and make an appearance now on top lane, now that Civ has been put far behind. As that is going to be the Cloud Drake secured here for AHQ, and Ryan is going to invade and take the red buff.
This is sort of deja vu. I think it has been the trend for Nova Esports to try and just give up early game. That hurts. Early dragons, rather, and just try to take advantage of the jungler being present elsewhere and try to move things around the map. This could be it.
Here we go. Ryan's going to path up towards the top lane tower. Civ takes a little bit of damage. He does have the World Ender available. Is going to pop in now for the extra move speed. Rocky taking the tower, able to dodge away from the Glacial Prison. But it's not enough, as Rocky's able to find himself his first kill of the game.
That was the perfect setup. Let's see if AHQ decides to take revenge, as we see Kongya making moves at bot side, but looks like they're gonna just concede. Take a look at that again. It's just so clean, with Ryan unleashing the Glacial Prison despite missing because of the flash. It's gonna be A-okay because, Ziv has already been chunked to a huge amount.
And that is just going to continue to accelerate this Callista. On top of that, Rift Herald likely going in favor now of Nova, and you can put that down in top lane. This is the Rocky show right now.
It is.
This is the Rocky Horror Show.
I've seen the replays before.
You've seen the replays before. Rocky at the moment has the game pretty much in his palm, and it comes down to how he plays it, as well as how Nova play around him.
And that is the scary part, because what are your options for Kongya? Do you just leave Civ at the top side and allow this to happen, or do you try and take advantage of, you know, Ryan not being able to be present at bot side? And that could be the plan, as we've been seeing, you know, Uniboy trying to roam as much as he can, but at the same time, they haven't really exactly. Nova Esports actually sees this a mile away, and therefore not allowing that to happen.
Well, and honestly, if you watched LPL last week, where the Callista was first shown over by the Shy, what ends up happening if you don't deal with see, it was very nicely done, able to get that auto attack to kill the Rift Herald before it charges. If you let the Callista just push away, you lose the game, because you will lose your base at 20 minutes if you don't deal with her. So how AHQ responds now, especially with that first tower being taken, it relies on Rocky. Like, Nova got to get some vision now in that topside jungle, or else Rocky can easily get caught out if he's not careful.
I agree. And during the laning phase, there were actually 2 control wards, 1 extra control ward invested just for Rocky to be safe, 1 I think on the tri-brush, and 1 as well at the deep parts of AHQ's jungle. And again, it was Rocky having a smooth sailing laning phase, and now he has exactly like ballooned up, or starting to balloon up, with all of the initial dive rather coming from Ryan. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing that more, but the dive potential, because of, you know, Callista unleashed into the rift, is there. Like, you use Ryan to dive first, and if things get too sticky, pull in.
Yep, Fate's callback is Rocky into the 2v1. Unfortunately, yeah,
Ooh.
Kongya 2 levels down, and Rocky has already finished off his first item, the Sanguine Blade, so he's got a little bit of extra lifesteal built in with that lethality. Yeah, it's a bit disgusting, and look at that. Ryan's already on the red buff, pathing up. Kongya is already backed off, and that is trouble now for Civ. He does not have the flash available. Knockup's going to be there, and he's just going to get taken down. Rocky starting to go on a rampage here, as now they can go ahead and push in for the second tier tower.
Such pain, and you see G4 also following Uniboy's rotation towards that side of the map. It might be a little bit tricky, but at least you have that wave clear coming from the Syndra.
And you see now AHQ are starting to panic a bit. You've already had to force Uniboy to kind of cut his lane phase early, as we go ahead and take another look here with Ryan on the engage.
It's just basically very, very clean. You see Ryan just diving in, and all the Ren stacks piling on. Rocky is having a fun game right now, and the potential plot twist, though, we've seen Nova Esports lose 10k gold leads before, but many times. Okay, many times. That's the scary part for Nova Esports. It's more of how they can keep pressing on with this Callista on the 2-0 right now, and especially Ziv is definitely not in the position at all to enter any of these fights. So this is the window that they want to take advantage of through and through.
Yeah, because if you're AHQ, you still want to try and accelerate this game and try and force this Senna to come out of the lane phase, you know, start, you know, having to contest over farm. But for now, AHQ are able to defend their bot lane, and that's kind of, you know, a small little worry. As, oh, here comes the engage. It was the Voyage on over coming out from Yusura. Teleport is here, but it's going to be immediately Answer and Nova are on the back foot here. 4v4 flash forward coming out from Yusura. Here comes Uniboy, though, to try and make it a turnaround. Shockwave is going to land, but it's onto the solo Syndra. And meanwhile, Rocky is caught in the Cataclysm, and he's taken down. AHQ find their opening.
Just when we were talking about it, AHQ just surprises Nova Esports into a fight that they were not ready for. And because of the Voyage, because of how Nova Esports are quite extended, not respecting the threat of a delivery system in the form of a Kench. And therefore, you know, AD carry Mexcross had to suffer.
Yeah, and the engage coming out from this Kench ultimate to deliver the Jark.
Yep, Suri, and basically Mexcross was just cornered. And even though Rocky teleported, even though he was 2-0-0, and like an item lead over the top laner, you're no match for a 4-man people funneling all of the damage to you. Trapped in the Cataclysm at that as well.
And with that too, that's also second Dragon of the game going over to AHQ, and Yeah, Nova's gold lead starts to diminish a little bit. It's only about 1,000 in their back pocket. They're going to get some turret plating here in the mid lane, but now you see the Kalista. Rocky's going to go down to the bot lane, try and push that one in as fast as possible, but a little bit of a slowdown, and that is a concern here for Nova and Rocky.
Indeed, and we've seen it many times before from Nova Esports, and, well, it's not exactly the end just yet after... That is a lot of vision coming from AHQ.
They wanted to make sure they could see it.
Yeah.
In that last fight.
Exactly. That was the plan. That was the plan. Right now, AHQ, the 2 dragons, they have gotten in control. Again, it's pretty scary if the game progresses. Senna will have not only immense damage, but immense heals. And therefore, any sort of initial burst coming from Nova will just be negated by any sort of healing coming from AHQ.
Might see, though, our next fight around this Rift Herald as Shelly once again joins the Rift. G4 is actually rotated up to the top lane, so he doesn't have to be in the mid anymore. You have their bot lane actually clearing that out. Rocky is already pathed up here to try and make it a 5v4. We might just see ourselves a 5v5 here, actually, as AHQ. They're also grouped up. Shelly down to about 5,000 health on the Rift Herald. Back is turned over toward AHQ. Go back here. Shockwave finds 2 into Glacial Prison, and there you go! The shutdown on to the Senna as Ryan claims the kill, and Ysera is also going to go down here as Rocky finds himself another one. And Nova claim themselves a juicy prize of a Rift Herald and 2 kills. Rift
Herald and a nicely placed Shockwave into the Glacial Prison. They're going to be happy. They're going to be happy about that. Meanwhile, HQ will probably decide to defend this a little bit more, but they might have to back away. No threats on any ults whatsoever, and that's the reason why they're trying to stick around a little bit more.
And that accelerates the goal back to 4,000 here. It's a big engage coming out here, actually, from Ryan.
They were hugging the wall quite there. They walked into a ball. And then that is just a beautifully changed ults after ults, and at that point, it was Nova just trying to clean up and chase everybody else from AHQ. No escape for Ysera as the red pop will finish him off.
And that's the thing about Orianna. If you shut her down a little bit early, she's still very impactful when it comes to the team fights. That Shockwave from G4, able to help set up the rest of the CC chain, and then there you go. It's a 3,000 gold lead back in favor of Nova. We got another 90 seconds until we see the Infernal rejoin us onto the map.
The thing that I really like about this Karma pick is that it makes up for like the weaknesses of a Varus pick. You don't have mobility options, innate mobility options, and you compensate with that with a Karma. And on top of that, when you go 5v5s, you join Rocky, you add to the movement speed of Rocky, and therefore you can kite better with a Kalista. So it just meshes well with the overall composition of Nova Esports as a whole.
You see, though, AHQ committing a lot of resources down toward the bot side of the map, waiting for this Infernal to join us in about 50 seconds. Unfortunately, though, the reset for the Senna is going to be a little bit late. She just wants to keep clearing out this mid lane, and no teleport available, so you won't be able to spend any of this gold for the ensuing fight. Kongya, if you get caught out here, that's not a good start for you either. Ooh, Ryan goes for a ride, but he's able to back off to safety as he doesn't get caught by the root of the Senna.
A little bit scared there for Ryan, but everything's going to be A-okay. And because of topside pushing, Ziv is forced to deal with that. And 20 seconds on the clock. No vision for AHQ. It has been cleared by Nova Esports at that portion of the map.
You see, Civ didn't even have teleport, so you want to try and clear out the wave, but 9 seconds on this Infernal means Nova get themselves their first try in the game. Ryan, you're allowed to dance right now, but game ain't over just yet. It's heavily in favor so far of Nova, but like we've mentioned, we have seen slip-ups happen from this squad. It's not out of the question here, and certainly not game over just yet for AHQ.
That dancing bit coming from Ryan really tells what mood Ryan is right now coming into this match, and it's most likely the lead that Nova has acquired during the initial minutes of the game, and now they're continuing to siege this one as well. Civ, I'm not sure if he'll be able to protect that one. That's 5 people.
He's got buddies.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the squad rolling in. Now, 5 members of Nova are going to show, but not a whole lot of minions to try and protect them, as they're going to get cleared out easily here by AHQ. For now, though, I think it's just the reset going to come out from Nova as they head on back to base. Want to spend some of that extra gold and start looking toward, you know, those second items coming into their inventory here shortly.
The interesting about these two teams is that AHQ, on the other side, we've never actually seen them come back from behind. It's not a huge goal. It's not a huge gold lead yet for Nova Esports. But we've never actually seen them
on the
back foot
this hard, except for that one alpha game.
Except for that one alpha game, where it was just, I think, a 5-minute mini, like our hearts were racing. Or their hearts are probably racing at that time. But for Nova Esports, you mentioned that we've seen them slip up already and lose a game on where it was like a humongous lead for themselves. So that's just two sides of the coin for AHQ and Nova Esports. And it's a matter of who will not allow, for Nova Esports, who will not allow history to be repeated. And for AHQ, it's all about making new things for themselves to work out with.
See Rocky here down the bot lane clearing out. He's finished off his Bork, so another little spike for him. On top of that, he's got his boots, so 2 core items and boots. Callista starts getting a little bit scary. And the jungle is also scary, Uniboy. If you step too far forward, he figures something's going on here. Yeah, he sees G4 now pop out of the brush. He's like, all right, what's going on?
And it is an understandable fear because vision-wise, there's not a lot of work around with for AHQ. Nova Esports has been doing a good job controlling and dewarding some of these vision from AHQ, and therefore there's not a lot of room to work with. Tons of respect here. Wako, very far forward.
Here we go. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Ryan. Instantly respawn, though, from the consume of Yusura. He's able to bring the Senna back to safety. Rocky in the bot lane continues his push. You saw the gold graph there for a split second. Rocky almost 3,500 gold on top of this Aatrox of Civ, which if he's not being pressured anymore and free to farm, this is kind of that question period for Nova and this Callista. Is Rocky going to be able to completely dominate these side lanes and continue pressing on forward? Because you need that split push to actually be taking place. Or else AHQ, they could, in theory, just look to turtle down on their base, as long as they're not giving up, say, an inhibitor for the next 10 minutes or so. And honestly, they have 2 dragons in their back pocket, so they have a bit of time to stall and delay that soul from Nova. That, you know, Nova are the ones that have to act here with this gold lead.
Definitely time is running out for Nova Esports here. And it has been a trend, I suppose, for some games and where, you know, Rocky is in a huge lead but not able to press further with that. And this is one of those things potentially, as fights AHQ are just happy to keep rinse and repeating, clearing the waves, and at this point it's more of, since it's too deep already, Nova Esports will be a little bit more wary in initiating these dives. Top side, I mean, they had an attempt, but AHQ is just very careful. They know Nova Esports.
Yeah, and the thing about Nova Esports too is they don't have a whole lot of deep coverage considering how much map control they really have. You see the river, it's pretty much the only thing lit up here on the side of Nova. Outside of that, AHQ are the ones that have the defensive coverage, so it's a little bit harder to catch anyone out on the side of AHQ. And it's also hard for Rocky to press in without feeling a little bit uncomfortable that someone could be coming by and looking for the flank.
Agreed. But we could see a potential fight coming up soon. 30 seconds on the clock for the next Inferno. Nova has complete control over that, but they don't have vision over at the opposite side of that jungle. So a set coming from Kongye.
See, this is a bad position here for AHQ. Luckily for them, already the ball being placed by G4 means they're able to walk into the lane. You got Kongye over toward the side. Meanwhile, Rocky, there you go. He sees a couple members mid lane. He's going to push in this tower as fast as possible. You see them roaming on over. That's going to bring over the Kench, but Rocky's pretty ahead at this point. Civ is also nearby. That's a lot of stacks that he could easily get the rend off, but decides against it. Now Glacial Prison going to connect into the Shockwave, and Mixcross able to find the kill. And like that, Nova can crack open a second-tier tower.
That was an interesting move by AHQ. I seriously thought they were going to bring someone in that voyage, and it was just Isera, and because of that, Rocky was like, okay, I can just probably kite through you, and that's gonna be fine. And Ziv was the casualty over there, while we see Uniboy getting at least something off of that exchange, getting that top side down, as it has been very annoying to deal with the minions piling up already at top side.
Did they just make a mistake here? I don't think you want to bring the Senna though into
that's
that.
true.
She was at half health, so I just feel like that was Ysera maybe getting a little bit too gutsy on the play. Yeah, that's an easy take for Nova.
Yeah, the ideal situation was probably Ziv, since Rocky didn't have anyone else at that time. It was just Ryan nearby. But either way, the collapse would have been very, very easy to execute by by Nova Esports there.
And with that, that's also second Infernal secured now for Nova, adding on. And each one of those Infernals, kind of multiplies that gold lead just a little bit. And it's more and more concerning here for AHQ. Sure, they can delay it because they were able to take 2 dragons, but that means you only have 10 minutes, and that's only 35 minutes into the game. That's only mid to late game. Nova would still be very strong. So timer's ticking on both sides.
Agreed. And Nova Esports already predicts the engagement entry. Nicely done, poke coming from Rocky. They have pretty much all the sides covered, therefore denying some sort of initiation.
Uniboy's stepping up pretty aggressively. And yeah, you got to get these wards down, because especially against the Jarvan, also Civ, who's been known to be able to find his flank opportunities very often. Have to put some defensive ward coverage around your sides. Meanwhile, though, there's no side lane pressure, though, coming up from Nova. So they're just kind of clearing out this mid lane like an ARAM. And there's nothing really happening on the outside of the map. At some point, they can, rotate on over to Baron and get ward coverage and force AHQ to come over and have to respond, but looks like they just want to keep waiting for this. There's the engage coming out onto the Kench immediately, but no one's going to fall down, it looks like, as G4 places the shockwave, gets the dissidence, but still not enough damage. Another Chain of Corruption into the Senna ultimate. That's going to be the stopwatch burn here by Rocky immediately, but the tower is claimed in favor of Nova as they back off.
Beautifully done by Nova Esports. I guess patience is a virtue here. Eventually the tower fell and just baited out so many ults from AHQ, but there is just no entry of any sort of aggression from AHQ. It was just a very beautifully done shockwave, and therefore any sort of aggressive play will be denied because they will be a little bit more hesitant with their low health. Especially Ziv, you'd want to try and be on Nova's face. Again, really nice draft from Nova Esports. I guess it all piled from draft, early game from Ryan as well with Rocky. And now, with that said, again, HQ is still, they're still pretty scary once they try to turtle out here for HQ, so Nova Esports got to be careful with this lead.
Yeah, if we're talking glow-ups here for Nova, it's got to be Ryan's performance so far. In their Week 3 matchup against AHQ, had barely any impact. Barely saw him on the Rift. He was on a Trundle, I believe.
Yes, he was on a Trundle.
Literally he didn't even die. Like, that's how little impact he had. He didn't get a kill, he didn't get an assist, he didn't die.
Uh-oh.
So this time around, Sejuani made the early invade onto the Jarvan work, got himself a free kill, was able to snowball Rocky in the top lane. There's still work to do, and still got to be a little bit careful there, Ryan, as Kongya goes to the flag drag, but no Cataclysm being used.
Yep, flashes are online for everybody, for both teams. So I guess Kongya didn't want to use a Cataclysm at that point. Now, what's on the checklist? It's going to be top lane, inner tower. That's what Nova's going to get. Just a lickety split from Isera. Uniboy quite close.
Uniboy. Oh, G4 is going to want that ultimate back. Not able to get the CC down onto the Syndra, but one more push. That should be the turret going in favor of Nova. Civ on an angle is on top of a ward, so Nova know where he is. Meanwhile, mid lane, it's Rocky pushing in. He's going to head on back.
This is a very calm and collected Nova Esports. At the time, I was a little bit worried whether or not, because everyone was lined up for a Glacial Prison there.
The reset here is a little awkward, though, for Nova. That does allow AHQ, if they want to, try and push in, but it looks like they're still conceding another Drake here, as that's going to be both the Kench and Senna going back to base. They can use, of course, his ultimate to get closer, so it's not a bad timing on the reset, but that does allow Nova to get full control over the pit. And look at that, AHQ. I don't think they can respond to this.
Are they going to opt for an exchange with towers or pinging Baron,
they're getting close to
actually?
the Baron. There is a ward on top of it, though.
We do have an idea. Looks like they're going to just ditch the plan. Uh-huh.
See, this is the concern when it comes to AHQ, is what does this team do when it's down in gold, in pressure around the map?
It's a situation I've never seen before. This could potentially be their redeeming day, but Nova Esports is doing a good job whittling away the base of AHQ, less space to work with for that team, and Nova will continue on with this.
You also got to be careful now, because Rocky's got himself his QSS, so he has a little bit of built-in safety himself. Ryan over toward the side. He's going to meet up with 2 members. They get 3 of AHQ. Dashes over the wall to get to safety. T4 takes a little bit of damage.
Oh, he's going in.
Goes in very deep. That's going to be the Senna ultimate being popped immediately. Kench eats back the Jarvan. AHQ look for the disengage. Oh, Cataclysm. Oh, it was already used, but both the Shockwave and Glacial Prison being used there on Nova do not find any targets, so everyone whips their ultimates in the end and no one goes down.
I think that was an exchange of a lot of flashes burned. I think Uniboy and Kongye flashed for the Glacial Prison and the ball, the Shockwave, so I guess it's a good exchange. Barrett is up though. That was very, very, very close for AHQ to get a wipe. And if that wipe happened, or if like 3 members die, I think that could have been a potential inhibitor tower. But guess not. Uniboy is going to try to just get a little bit of chip damage over that tower.
Yeah, the only thing about AHQ is they've only been able to get the 1 tower in top lane, as Uniboy actually ends up missing his combo there, not able to get the stun. Look at this, AHQ though. Going to try and make a play up onto G4. The rest of Nova, though, are starting to collapse here, and Kong is actually the one caught out toward the side. G4 able to escape, not taken down by the Flag Drag combo. And now Nova look to be on the chase here. The hunter becomes the hunted. Oh. Uniboy also toward the side. He's got to be careful. G4 can pop the trigger. There it is. Shockwave into the combo. And Uniboy's taken down as Rocky survives.
That's a heal being popped for Rocky, and as well as, you know, the flash being used earlier just really pained Uniboy. The cooldowns for Shockwave will really not match the cooldowns for the flash, so it really works well for G4 with that initiation. So I want to look at that again. It's like the flanker becomes the flanky, and then it's just topsy-turvy world, basically.
Yeah, that's the issue. When you take your 2 teammates and you're only a group of 3, now you're the odd one out, and it's an easy collapse there for Nova.
Easy collapse indeed. There were so many teleports being burned by both sides, and Uniboy tried to do a stun, perhaps, but was in range for the GLP. Shockwave in, and it's going to be an easy takedown, as that's basically 4 members. With heals and shields as well to cancel out any sort of burst, you've got 2 sources of shields, so it works really, really well for Nova Esports.
Yeah, you got that Athene's already down, and starting to look at, you know, 4th items for a lot of members now of Nova. Got the Void Staff, you got the Spellbinder actually being brought out by G4. He's opting for that big amount of burst, not even going into his 3rd item Rabadons you sometimes see.
Shockwave is up again, and Uniboy's flash is still not up. So so many, like at the later phases of the game, you have like the options of you to escape. Things are going to be diminished as the game progresses with low cooldowns for Nova Esports in general.
Yeah, unfortunately here for Uniboy, he's had a couple of mistakes on the Cinder. He's only died that 1 time, but there's been some functional, operational mistakes. Like we saw the stun being missed there in the mid lane when they were trying to actually go for a play on Mixed Cross. And with this too, AHQ, they lose pressure in the midsection of the map. It's 1 minute until the Infernal Drake spawns once again. And once Nova have that, it is disgusting how much damage they are going to be able to do, especially with piercing arrows. Just doing that on Uniboy, that will do an extra chunk of damage, almost take him with half health with 1 Q.
The good side about the poke from, the good part is that they might initiate. I am scared. as they have they have a form of sustain, in the form of a Senna.
See now, 25 seconds on your Infernal. AHQ going to try and at least get the priority in mid lane. Ryan, though, is running directly at them here at this point. So they're able to get a little bit of a lick back. Waco has to back off. You see here, both teams a little antsy. Nova kind of want to go for this. Mixcross is getting low on that mana, though. They might have to be careful. It's going to be who pulls the trigger first on either one of these squads.
Well, Mixcross is going to be fine with the... All right. They're circling around. They're changing plans, HQ.
There we go, AHQ, they decided to make the play here. They are the ones caught out, though. It's a 5v4, because guess what? Oof. The Aatrox, the Chain of Corruption doesn't hit its target. Now Rocky, though, immediately back onto Civ. You can see that damage coming out from the Callista. Meanwhile, the fight ensues down below in the river as Civ is going to get taken down. Rocky able to find the Rend, and Ryan leading the charge on the Sejuani. Uniboy, though, finds the Callista, able to get him back over towards safety. Ysura now caught in the 3v1 on the Kench. They have to back off to safety. What? It's a shockwave, though, into two members. Ryan still on the front line, tanking up damage. Mixcross with barely any mana. He's still got the auto attacks, and Pop is able to find a kill. G4 finds another one. Uniboy is taken down. Kongya into the back line, but it's not enough. Nova find the ace.
What a prolonged fight by Nova Esports. That is a lot of death timers. Now they're rushing towards taking an inhibitor tower, maybe even an inhibitor. That's a lot of long death timers. Ziv is going to be the next one to engage here, and I want to see that fight again as Rocky was like, okay, you're isolated. This is my time to shine.
Yeah, I saw them, and there's a lot of missed ultimates coming out from Nova. There was a Chain of Corruption miss, the Sejuani ultimate missed as well. There was lots of opportunities to be a much cleaner fight for Nova and could have resulted in the game being ended off that one push, but I got to give it props here to the Nova squad, able to kite this fight back.
Ryan single-handedly tanked 3 members of AHQ, therefore giving the proper room for the rest of the backline to follow through. And even though, what do you call this? I thought G4 died there, it was still pretty worth. And they get an Infernal Soul at that.
Infernal Soul, and we'll see. That's 4 stacks.
That's painful.
That's painful. Those Varus Qs are going to chunk people down to half health. If you're Uniboy, if you're the Senna, both of them, you're scared. This is not a fun time. As, oh no. What's happened here, Riku?
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun time. And
okay,
we're back. We're good.
It's playing with my heart, Riku. I'm not ready for it.
You're okay, Opal. You're okay. Okay, Spooky Ghost unleashed. It's going to spot out Uniboy and Kongya. Now Nova Esports will look toward getting this Baron. They do have a lot of poke to try and scare AHQ away by chunking them down with their HP. But this could be very tricky.
We'll see here. Civ getting a little too aggressive here. Gonna have to back off.
Yep, best part about the Q, the having a lot of poke. Get to proc a lot of things. Wacko is going to be safe for now. But now HQ is pressured to defend this Baron, as it potentially may be their loss in this game. Or it could be their victory, because this is where certain teams fall during the Baron fights, during the Baron
This is iconically where Nova often find themselves, is usually with a lead.
Oh, what? The damage!
That damage, it does a lot, Riku. If you're not careful here, that's going to be Nova starting up the Baron. And with that Infernal Drake, they just rip it apart here. AHQ over toward the side to try and go for a steal. Civ not nowhere close. And Kongya is out still by the red buff. So that is now Baron and Soul in favor of Nova. 4 minutes on the Elder Drake if they wish to wait for it.
Again, AHQ is a team that went 8-1 in their round robin, only dropped the match in their very first round robin. And now Nova Esports knocking at the base.
Here we go, Kogya into a 3-man Cataclysm, jumps into the backside, but guess what? The Senna is immediately taken down by G4. Rocky finds the kill onto the Jarvan. And AHQ, they may be at the top of the standings, but unfortunately, they are starting to fall here as Nova crack open the base.
Nova Esports, that's 2 members down from AHQ. They're looking to end the game.
2 waves. That's Uniboy going down extremely low off one piercing arrow. G4 is the one taking up the damage over toward the side. Ryan on the front line. Civ goes golden, but he will go back into the ground as he's taken down. And Nova find the upset over the top of the standings, AHQ.
Nova Esports making Thailand proud, making LSD proud, and as well as acquiring new fans as they just destroyed AHQ. Imagine, they were 8-1 in their round robin. I have no words. I'm pretty happy about this one for Nova Esports.
We talk so much about Nova's difficulties with a lot of the times where they're able to find advantages through Rocky and not snowballing it elsewhere on the map.
Yes.
They pick a composition that is arguably the definition of you need to do that. And it actually gets pulled off. Now, to be frank, might have been able to be closed a little bit earlier, but to see the squad, considering what we've seen from Nova in the last 2 weeks, Riku, where there has been games thrown out the window, miscommunications on team fights, for them to come back here and take the game off AHQ is an impressive feat.
I think it also has something to do with confidence. They were completely confident coming into this this match against HQ. You see Ryan doing dance emotes in the Dragon Pit, even though it wasn't exactly like a huge lead just yet. But you can see the attitude coming into this fight. And because of that confidence, it leads them to procure more aggressive plays. And that's what led them into this victory against HQ.
Yeah, so for Nova, the climb begins to try and get out of that playoff bubble. Because reminder, if you're on the 2, if you're 7th or 8th, you only get 1 chance in playoffs because it is a double elimination, but you get placed into the loser bracket immediately. So we'll have to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the team fights from their match against AHQ. And we're actually going to, I think, one of the biggest snowball factors, which was this Ripped Herald fight.
Yeah, it's so hard to play against, what do you call this? A Kalista, not a Kaisa, Kalista on all of these objective fights once the red piles in. It's so hard to do any sort of steal whatsoever against, you know, Rocky at that, who has had a really nice laning phase this game.
Yeah, able to find victory there. You can see that gold graph continue to surge.
Whew.
As Nova take down AHQ off the back heels of, again, Rocky, Ryan, and G4 actually. He got, you know, that early death early on in the game, I think put him down a bit, but he had some clutch ultimates coming through.
He did a lot. And you know what, Opal? The gap is closing. The gap is gone.
Oh, that's what you're going to go with here?
Yeah,
the gap
that's
is
what
gone?
That's what I'm going for, Opal. I love it.
Well, considering how AHQ played here, I think any team now looks at this and says, oh, we just have to be proactive.
We can take them on, exactly.
We just got to go for it.
Yeah.
Because arguably, I don't think a lot of teams really realize that a lot of these slower paced teams, they like playing slow because they just think they're better in team fights.
Yeah.
And arguably, the team fights could have been a lot cleaner for Nova. Especially around that Dragon Pit fight. I think they missed, 3 ultimates, yet they still walked away.
Yes.
That's still like you're holding your breath a little and you're going, okay, maybe we should have won that, but we won that, so we'll take those.
Yeah, but they go at it again without the ults, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their comp really fits well, right? Because you do have, you know, the Karma, Shields, movement speed to reposition, so it's a-okay.
Yeah, and of course our MVP is going to go to the monster up in top lane. It's Rocky for Nova, picking up, I believe, his 2nd MVP of the split.
I'd be really, really happy. The first one to pull off a Kalista top and defeat AHQ at the same time. I just cannot believe it, because the first time we see a moment of weakness again from against against AHQ was Alpha Esports, but it wasn't completely 100% done.
No.
The first defeat of AHQ was when they got a taste of Talent Esports. So they were aggressive at that time, and now they finally saw a kryptonite, a weakness, a dent in the armor. Not a dent in the armor, it's completely crushed.
It's broken.
It's broken now.
It's like put in the trash pile now. They got to go ahead and get some new armor apparently for AHQ.
Exactly that, Opal.
And maybe some mentality there, because to have that game taken from them, honestly, rather convincingly by Nova, it's got to be a bit of a shock here over to AHQ, because they've honestly, looked rather flawless in a lot of their games, but now they're kind of going and like, oh, someone's finally figured us out.
And yeah, no, they've never lost against any former LST team. This is going to be their first time, and they have to be worried.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, too, we got more action, Riku, as our next match of the night is going to be
HKA.
some music, apparently. I'm not too sure where that music came from, but it's going to be HKA taking on J-Team. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it's going to be more action for the PCS.